how to get more phone numbers and emails, okay? So we can talk about lead generation a little. So how to build an email list, how to build an SMS list. I built my email list. Now I'm probably way over 250,000, 250K across all my companies over the years that I've done that. And, I manage tens of millions of emails with all the brands I work with. Same for phone number. I manage millions of phone numbers and, across all the brands I work with, we're probably growing our list by 10,000 a day. Okay, so some serious growth. And this is all different spaces too, right? So e-com, high ticket, fitness, whatever, right? Info. So lots of different spaces. And a lot of building a lead gen funnel. Okay, if you're going to do straight lead gen funnel, who can guess the biggest secret of a successful lead gen funnel? See if anyone can guess it. So freebies, align. Good, you're kind of getting close. Let me give you. So the number one key of success for any lead generation campaign, this is what I've always done, which is why I've grown massive lists, is reverse engineering it to be ROI break even. Okay, and that might sound obvious, but most people, they don't do it this way. They create some sort of guide because they're like, oh, I think this sounds good. Then they start running it, and then I'm like, what are you doing after? They're like, oh, I don't know. We just send them some emails and send them to the Facebook group. So it has to be the opposite. It has to be super, super strategic on what am I doing right at the other end of the funnel before I look at the lead gen side. Okay, so you actually work backwards. So what is the end goal? Are you selling a 20K offer, a 50K offer, a 5K offer, a $1,000 offer? Are you an e-com store and you want to get them on your Amazon, Amazon Prime subscription version and buying all your products? And then you build backwards from there. Okay. So if you get that part right, then you could all spend $2,000 a day, right? If you spent $2,000 and then they got redirected and they opted in and then redirected and they bought some stuff, then they went to a webinar, then they got a phone call, then they got text messages, and within a few weeks you've made that $2,000 back, then you could all spend $2,000 a day as long as you had the cash to sustain it, right? Some of you might not have enough cash to sustain the life cycle, which is a different problem. That's cash flow. But in theory, if you all had $100,000 in a bank account and it took 20 days for the money to come back, you would go $40,000. And then after that, you should be making all that money back, okay? And then at the same time, you've generated, whatever, $40,000. Maybe you've generated 20,000 emails that you've got for the rest of your life to monetize, okay? So once you get here, you've got almost infinite scale, right? So that's the first part. And then, yeah, the next part is the irresistible fucking offer, right? Just like a sales page or any fundamental of marketing. What is this opt-in or what is this positioning, right, that I'm going to provide that is going to get me super cheap and high quality? So you need an offer or a giveaway or guide or sample that gets you cheap and high quality. It's very hard to do both, okay? Not very hard, but it takes some consideration in how to craft a lead gen funnel that gives you cheap and high quality. Most people generally get the cheap without the high quality, and then they can't do this part, right? Because if you have cheap leads that aren't high quality, you can't convert them, and then what happens? You spend $1,000, get 1,000 emails, and then you come on a live call with me 2 months later and say, Rudy, the emails don't convert, no one's buying my stuff, okay? We don't want that. We want you to get 1,000 emails for $1,000, and a month later you made the $1,000 back. And then I say, great, now let's do it again with $5,000, and then 10, and then you get the idea, right? You keep growing it. So the next big part of success for lead gen is the flow of the funnel, right? So that's kind of linked to the top part. What is the flow? Okay, what is when they opt in? Where do they get redirected? What happens in the first 48 hours? But a lot of the best action will happen in 48 hours, okay? A lot of your leads after that will be gone forever. Most people don't understand that. And they're like, oh, we'll send them an email, then we'll follow up in a week and we'll build it slowly. It doesn't quite work. It works in theory, but it doesn't quite work like that, because after 48 hours, half of them never open anything ever again. Okay? Okay? So have a thing about that. Have a thing about, if you're trying to do lead generation, how you can build it based around this fundamental. Okay, so last thing I would say, if you're an e-commerce store, a lot of good pop-ups can help. If you're more info product coach consultant, you can have guides or like courses or like a strategic kind of like cheat sheets or systems to fix a pain point. So if you're a coach or consultant, what is the biggest pain point? And then create some sort of guide, course, cheat sheet, or challenge that specifically fixes that, okay? And then exit pop-ups are a great way to start growing a list too. People go to the cart, they exit, you capture the email, you sell some with a discount, and then you follow up with them, okay?